So then 5 days later, I confront Billy. And I show up, and Billy walks up to me and goes, "Hey, what's up?" like he doesn't know why I'm there. Like, really, like he doesn't know how news travels. Like, I was just reading Jericho's second book, and he said in there, telephone, telegraph, tele-wrestler. Like, that's how quick things move in the business.
So you should have brought a bat, maybe. If you have brought a bat, yeah. You meant business.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So I let him unload his stuff in the training center. First words out of his mouth. It's nothing personal, and I cut him off because I was tired of it. I was like, this is BS. And I said that. I was like, why haven't I heard from you in months? I was like, why didn't you come to me about Dorian? Why didn't you come to me about this situation? And his response didn't even show any remorse. Didn't have an apology attached. No sincerity, no nothing. Maybe I should have. Oh, well, okay, so I guess what, 50-50 you did wrong? 50-50 you had balls? So, I then, said, okay, did you tell Tim it was wrong, it was bad for business for him to work for us? And he said, yeah, because you got him in different storylines. Him and Sue in different storylines. They're both healed. I'm like, your point? And he's like, he said, I told you I didn't want, if two companies run the same town, I don't like them using the same town. I said, that's BS. Because you thought it was BS when Sean and Guy did it years ago. And he's like, well, it's different because they force people. I go, you're going to cop out behind the fact that you asked him. And he's like, I was like, did you really expect him to say no? He's like, well, probably not. I was like, he basically manipulated the situation. He basically asked them, but knowing full well, it's like your father comes to you and says, hey, can you clean your room? I mean, you're not going to go, no, Dad, you asked me and I have a choice. No, you're going to go, okay, I'll get on. It's the same thing. It's a respect factor. And he used that to basically not look like the bad guy, but still be able to get what he wanted. So finally, I asked him why he didn't come to me to work out a deal with Tripp, because he knew what we were doing with him. And he gave me this response. Right there. That was the response. He stared at me blankly and gave me nothing. Showing me full well that he was never a friend. He was never a friend. He never gave a crap about me. Never gave a crap about TPW. All he was worried about was his own self-gain, which I don't know what he got from us, but whatever.
He got the use of the ring, of course. That's the only thing he got as far as, what helped him in the long run was the use of our ring. Like I said, had I just went ahead and said, you know what, Hadley, I'm not going to help set it up. No, screw it. We're done with it. And then freaking, I'm sure you would have hated it, but you would have probably followed suit, and he would have had to find someone else. Yeah. But anyway, that's what he gained out of it. Anyway.
That and, you'll touch on it later about how, the School of Rock was pretty much in the beginning, we were the backbone. But anyway, so then, that was the moment I realized he wasn't my friend. That was the moment I realized he never gave a crap. And so then I proceeded to pretty much tell him that I thought it was BS that he was doing this to me after all the like in Lafayette, he even said it, at the Lafayette Summit, he started getting a bad taste in his mouth about Billy, and everyone else did. And I was the one that stood there saying, guys, calm down, put your pitchforks down, and this is Billy Rock, trust me, he's on our side. And I was the one that stood there by him. I was the one, when, he did Dragon Gate. A lot of people, I think, a lot of young guys who were his tag partner that technically should have maybe, even though I'll be honest, I don't think I fit the Dragon Gate bill. I think that a guy like me could have benefited a heck of a lot more than a guy like Billy who was doing his last match, supposedly. On the show, I think that a guy like me could have benefited more and would have been resentful. And I was like, you know what, Billy, that's awesome. I sat there in the crowd and I watched, and I remember sending him a text saying that was the 07 Billy Rock. And after all that, the Dynamite Brigade thing where, like I said, I think it was to keep him relevant, and all it really did was, keep him relevant. It didn't really do anything to me. It didn't branch me out anywhere. And yet, I had no problem with it. I'm still to this day, I'm happy I did it. But the bottom line is, after all that, this is what it came down to. He basically threw away a good friendship for, a couple months of notoriety? Because now his right-hand man and him have split, and now there won't be a Season 2 Class Wars. I'm sure that people are killing themselves right now over this.
Yeah. And you refuse to discuss it and all that. So some of us who are in the know pretty much. I mean, we read between the lines.
Ego!
Yeah. But like I said, like I said, I'm not a big fan of Tom Green's anymore because, like I said, it's stuff that, why he couldn't be a man and say something to us or whatever, which is whatever. But, I do give him kudos for, saying enough of Billy's BS and walking away and leaving Billy high and dry. So I wish we would have done that back in 2011. That'd been great.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so then I finally, I told him after all that, I think it's BS that you did this to me, blah, 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 blah. And then before I left, I felt I put the cherry on top for me anyway. And I went to walk off and I said, oh, by the way, and I pulled out a $10 bill. I said, here's $10 for you down in my brigade shirt. Threw it on the ring and walked off. That was the last time I spoke to him in person. Because last Friday, the day before our Lafayette show, here's something for all those people who think Billy Rock, oh, he's so old school, he follows the rules, he follows tradition. How's this? I get a text that I'm picking up the U-Haul. I did an interview with the TGIF, and I told the lady on the phone, I said, Rhino, we had Rhino on the show, and I said, he's been with the WWE, he's been on TV, he's been all around the world, he's been pretty much any big promotion. I was like, this isn't something that falls in Lafayette every day. She put it in the paper, and had they said, if that isn't enough, that adults and children alike get to see a real wrestling star in action. And then she put my quote up, this doesn't fall in Lafayette every day. She put that underneath. Fair enough. Now, was her statement wrong? No. He's not a real wrestling star. I'm not a real wrestling star. Billy Rock, even though in his mind he's like the living legend, and like Bruno Sammartino probably kisses his feet, at the end of the day, Billy Rock is not a wrestling star. However, he sends me a text taking a picture of this quote and says, Jeremy's quote in the paper, I guess we're not real wrestlers. For one, Billy, good job taking that out of context even worse than she did. Number two, like I said, that just shows right there. The thing was, he was trying to get in our head. He was trying to get in our head and mess with our psyche the day before the show because my friend, Jamie Crisis, my best friend, messaged him, was like, send him this long thing. I didn't read it all because I didn't have time. But it was this long thing about that's not what he meant, that's not what he said, I'm not trying to disrespect you, I'm just simply saying that's not what was said, blah, 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 blah. And Billy gets back to him and says, thanks for that, I know that's not how he meant it. Journal and Courier is notorious for misquoting people.
Now, I'm sure that if there's any doubters, you go to the source and, find out if it was said or not. I'm sure there's proof out there. But, yeah, that was pretty funny. Like I said, I suggested maybe it was him trying to get in our heads. It could have been, like I said, an honest mistake of him sending a text and oh, damn, I sent it to Hadley too. But anyway, which way, go ahead, since this is parental advisory suggested. What was your response?
Oh, my response was, when he sent that text, my response was, that's cute. Wow, you can text me now. Where was your text a few months ago about IPW? Good call, pussy. Never heard a response back. And, and that was the thing is, I always, even after Billy did whatever, I put it past him. I put stuff like that past. I said, you know what, he's too good for that. And apparently he's not. So, and by the way, Billy, I just want to say, I've heard from a source of ours, I heard from Sean Cook, your boy, yeah, your number 500 apparently was a little off by like 315. I've heard that the correct number was 185. I'm just throwing that out there just for anybody who runs around believing there was 500 people there. I'm not going to lie to you. Do I think you drew more? I'll be honest, yeah, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say 300, but if you say 500, I'm going to call you parental advisory. I'm going to call you a fucking liar. And now I just, real quick, before you get to your thing, I want to touch on something. Since this Billy thing went down, I've lost a lot of friends, okay? Trip Cassidy, the deal went down where he left, and I tried to keep it cool. I would comment on his Facebook and all this, and he wouldn't respond. So then, I sent him a text after IPW's first return show. I was like, hey, how was the show? He's like, oh, the draw was good, but the locker room still sucks. And I was like, oh, I forgot to tell you, I talked with Dave. I sent him this like 3-page text, telling him about how I talked with Dave Lawson, I think that's his name, at IPW, the owner, the new owner or whatever, and just aired my grievances. And he was like, well, did it do any good? No, still sucks or whatever. Like, he was just very short and to the point with me. And I started really reading him. And so I'm like, fair enough. So then I texted him one day, because we used to always go back and forth with different, quotes, like me and Billy used to. I texted him a quote from Step Brothers, and he never responded. That was it for me. I was like, I'm done. I deleted him from Facebook, deleted his number from my phone. I just think it's kind of sad that he doesn't have the balls to make his own decisions. Then, speaking of that, Heidi Lovelace. She's making a name for herself right now. Good job. But, I find it funny that when I put her over under one of her statuses, and a bunch of other people did, it's weird how everybody got a response or a like except my comment. The only reason I kept her on my friends list, and she's still on there as of this moment, is because I'm hoping to God she sees this video. Because I want her to know that I think it's BS. Because, almost, 9 months ago? Yeah, it was about 9 months ago. It was the night before my high school reunion. I went to Bourbon with Trip Cassidy, Heidi Lovelace, Matt Russo, and Dale Patricks. It was some of the most fun we ever had. Well, at least I ever had. It was one of the best road trips ever. And moments like that stick with me. And the fact that you guys seem to look at it as, oh, nothing, oh, yeah, well, Billy Rock got us this, and we're going to go do this. You know what? Screw you. I never asked you guys to jump in the feud. I didn't ask that. I was trying to keep it cool and keep professional, and personal, and you guys chose sides. So as far as I'm concerned, you both can burn in hell. And speaking of one last person, that's Nick Manawa. I know you're a Joe fan.
Yeah. Love that guy.
Fact is, the day I went and confronted Billy, I decided to check my Facebook friends list to see how many people deleted me, because I was sure Billy had talked to people. And surely enough, everyone I thought might have didn't, except Nick Manawa. I don't know how long he deleted me. I don't know how long it had been, whatever. But then I sent him a friend request. Just, maybe it was an oversight. Maybe it was an accident. And he never responded, even though he's adding people left and right. I find it funny that, I wonder where he stands now. Because his boy Tom Green and Billy Rock are, Splitsville. I just wonder where he stands now. Did you pick a side on that one, Nick? So as far as I'm concerned, you, my friend, even though you may have connections and all that, you can rot in hell while you're getting raped by a bull.